Hello, Intactivists! In the news this week, we have Intact Global, Intact Again Podcast, Droit Au Corps, also known as DAC, and much more coming up. In POTS news, the POTS e-commerce program is getting matched very close to 4x this month. So we have one more week until the matching is gone, and I don't expect another serious matching like this until December timeframe. So guys, join my Discord and learn how the POTS e-commerce program works, because this will majorly help Intactivism down the road as this starts picking up more and more. James Lowen was interviewed on Saturday. James had an epic premiere interview with Scott, and this is part one of a part 5 series. The PANS members decided to break up the James Lowen interview parts every other week instead of every single week. So part 2 is not coming out this Saturday, but the next. This is so we can go ahead and put new faces to you, the viewers, and also other reasons that the PANS members came up with. If you don't agree with this, you can always come to our Only PANS meeting, which happens to be every single month. So it will be happening here soon. We started a series on POTS called Who Posted It. Spoonie premiered for the first time ever on POTS. It was rough. I'll let you watch it yourself. Stay tuned for our next guest this week on Thursday to see how the next one fares. I believe the next one is Ron Lau. All right, it's time to go ahead and spin the wheel of banishment. You guys know the drill. These guys broke rule number 16. All right, so BP is getting banned. Also in POTS news, the social media defenders, aka the Walks, not only are they educating people in the comments, they also sometimes support Prevail Over the System when he leaves comments, because I do indeed leave comments. This is Gregory Manarino. Warning, not for everyone. Think twice before watching this. Manarino. This got 307 likes, 5,700 views 11 days ago. If you go to the top comments, you will see that Prevail Over the System says they have been harvesting you since birth. That's why they push circumcision so hard on innocent babies, right here above my head. And it got 11 likes. This is the most liked comment, so it is at the very top. You guys can go ahead and double check, keep me honest, make sure this is not a YouTube trick on me. But we did have someone saying you're talking nonsense, and luckily someone corrected him, which is super awesome. That wise fox did so. But you guys can go ahead and read his awesome comment. But yes, guys, lots of people probably saw this, so thank you, Walks, to make this happen. And also, guys, keep in mind that yes, the Walks do more than just educate other people in the comments. Like I said, they also do help Prevail Over the System in other ways. So if you do want to go ahead and help out the Prevail Over the System mission, join our Discord. All right, and in DAC news, Droit Au Corps, they protested on Saturday, May 30th, 2026, but they just posted this June 19th. It says, during the March for Children and Youth in Paris, our association protested for the abandonment of circumcision and early and forced, I think that means amputation, I'm not sure. This was translated from French, so it says, two practices that make many children suffer every day. I don't know what deca-location is. If you guys know what deca-location is, let me know down in the comments. I'm really not sure. But anyways, yes, guys, this is translated from French, so this is not going to be the most perfect translation. But they made an awesome video, and if you look here at all the protesters, you can see that it's quite a lot of protesters here supporting the abandonment of male circumcision, which is really awesome. This got a lot of likes as well. They have a whole video here, which you can go ahead and see how their protesting was. I like these signs. These signs are quite professional. Guys, let me know, which do you like better? Do you guys like this more casual protest where they match signs, or do you prefer the more radical looking bloodstained men and their signs? I'm super curious what you guys think on your preference. I actually might run a poll actually in my Discord about this, so definitely go ahead and watch this video and also give it a like as well, because it definitely does help this spread out to not just the people in the immediate area of the protest, but also in Facebook. And it gets new people to understand that people are upset about circumcision, which may sway parents to not circumcise their kids. And in Intact Again podcast news. So in Intact Again podcast news, they did release part 3, Trans Challenges, Growing Penis and Foreskin at the Same Time, part 3 of 4. Now, this is not out on their YouTube yet. I don't know what the holdup is, but this is an hour and 50 minutes long. So if you guys want to go ahead and watch all of this, it's going to take you guys about 4.5 hours to go ahead and watch the complete series. I mean, we're still waiting for part 4 of 4. I'm sure it's going to come out next week. I don't know why they didn't put it out on their YouTube yet. I'm sure that's coming out pretty soon, though. And yes, Intact Again podcast, they do have a podcast website that you guys can go look up and check if you want to. In Intact Global news, so Intact Global got mentioned in the Denver Post, not directly, but definitely made the news. This was released Monday, June 22nd, so literally yesterday. It says lawsuit seeks to expand Colorado's ban on female genital mutilation to also prohibit male circumcision. Two men who say they were injured by circumcision as infants say state law is discriminatory. Now, if you guys do go ahead and read this, this is definitely a pro-circumcision article. This is written by Meg Wingerter, and you can definitely, just how this reads, it seems quite pro-circumcision. She mentions the AAP hasn't taken a definitive stance on male circumcision, saying parents should weigh risks, benefits, and other factors such as religious teachings. Says circumcised boys have a lower risk of UTIs in infancy and of acquiring HIV or other sexually transmitted infections as adults. Risks include possible bleeding, infection, or scarring. Really downplaying the risks really hard right now. It says that the Academy opposes FGM, and it says that a 2020 review of the available study found mixed results, with some showing better sexual functioning in circumcised men and some showing it was worse. The authors speculated that this could reflect differences in how the men perceived themselves and how their communities view circumcision. So again, this article, in my opinion, was pretty pro-circumcision, but you guys can let me know down in the comments if you thought this article was balanced or if it was anti-circumcision. I don't think anyone's going to say that, but it's definitely anti-FGM because it definitely says that the Academy opposes FGM because of a lack of medical benefits. But this Denver Post did mention Intact Global's lawsuit. So is that a win, even if it's a pro-circumcision article? I'm not really sure. Again, maybe I'll run a poll on it to get your guys' opinions on that. All right. So, guys, there was some confusion last week on this right here. So I got some comments by two people, and this guy says he was not trolling me on Discord. I thought he might have been, but I'm going to read this out so you guys can go ahead and hear what this guy's saying. He said, ha 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 ha, you are ridiculous, dude. You can even see in the picture you are showing on screen that he links to Avocado J's post. In fact, that's the only thing he decided to add to this post before sharing it. Are you just here to create beef and try to divide people? Well, this was about the Bloodstained Men stealing from Avocado J. If you go right here, this is Jason Lobos. This is literally Jason Lobos's original post where he links to his article. And I thought people could go ahead and understand this, that this is Jason's original post. And if you go to the Bloodstained Men, you see where it says Bloodstained Men and their friends, they don't post anything, like right down here. They don't post anything at all about the article. So I guess that was, there was some confusion around that. And no, it was not just Okaphonic either. There was also Backpack Matt saying, I concur. So when there's two intactivists agreeing on, or supposed intactivists, I'm not even sure. But when there's two commenters agreeing on the same thing, I feel like I didn't say things very clearly. So I'm trying to go ahead and clarify what's going on here. So no, Potts is not trying to start beef. Potts is trying to protect smaller content creators. Which, speaking of protecting smaller content creators, Java Doggy says, post the Avocado J link, please. I said I already did, and it's on the Potts' Discord. Avocado J, he also posted it underneath Java Doggy's comment, which I hearted. And then I said to Avocado J right here, I have to mute myself completely. So I said, since you are here, and so there's no question about it, did you give Bloodstained Men permission to use your graphic, or did they just take it? Avocado J is failing to leave a comment on that. which I feel like if Avocado J did get permission, he would have said something. I don't know, maybe he's just a nice guy and he doesn't want to start a fight with the Bloodstained Men, which is understandable because apparently if you get on the Bloodstained Men bad side, they will block you from seeing their posts and they will go ahead and not be too nice to you and take your content, which of course they already took Avocado J's content and also Potts's content. So I don't know, being on their good side, if it's really even worth it. The worst thing they're going to do is block you, most likely. That's what happened to Potts, at least. And go around and tell people not to talk to you behind your backs. All right, and on to the Intactivist calendar for the week. So, no circ of Michigan, the Big Rapids Pride Festival is happening Sunday, June 28th, 2026. So that is in 5 days, guys. It is from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. So that is 8 hours long, downtown Big Rapids, Michigan. So that is super exciting. We shall see how that ends up going. And hopefully Norm gives us some awesome photos. So Bloodstained Men, they have their Mid-South Circumcision Crisis protest July 22nd through July 29th. So in about a month from now, they will be in the Mid-South.
All right, and on to the polls of the week.
All right, guys, so this poll. Should Potts continuously share Trina Christine Mason's GoFundMe on the Potts News? So we had 5 people vote yes, Intactivists should help other Intactivists out and should know about this opportunity to help. And then we had C, you should cover the full GoFundMe one time. This is a nice compromise between A and B. And then you have B, which got 3 votes. So A and C got tied, and then there's 3 people voting no. This diverts funds from the main mission, which is to help stop circumcision from spreading and helping victims directly linked to this practice. So I'm going to go with C because we got some people voting B, which obviously they would definitely take C if they had to pick A or C. So we're going to go with C. You should cover the full GoFundMe one time. And that is what I'm going to do.
And on to the fundraisers of the week.
This is Trina Christine Mason's Support a Model's Journey to Healing and Education. So far, it's raised $475 of her $1,800 goal, which is 27%. Now, I'm going to read this. This is going to take a minute, guys. Born in South Miami Beach, I started my life career as a professional model and actress. My introduction to the field was being an industrial model with a mohawk at 16 years old. Before this, I owned my own business as a minor called the Pet Care Kids. I took care of people's pets, including skunks. It's supposed to be skunks, I believe, dogs, iguanas, rabbits, etc. My vision as a model was to change the world and make an impact to thought through visionary artwork. This was before social media influencers really existed. I started on MySpace marketing and branded my name and image. My career as a model expanded into fashion, steampunk cosplay, and more modern culture expression. I worked as a freelance model and independent contractor. I worked as background entertainment for shows like Magic City and Burn Notice. I received an underwater camera, Canon D10, from my grandmother as a gift. From there, I started to play and create underwater creative expression. Before all this, I started out doing trade for print to build my portfolio and worked with some really talented and creative people. That really inspired me and kept me motivated to make more artwork. After doing TV shows, I grew a greater interest in producing videography. I filmed my own concepts through my own lens. My mediums were videos and pictures at the time. My images and videos of myself were more viewed than anything that I personally photographed and took videos of. However, my inspiration and drive was not for views, but a genuine love to use the camera to journal moments of my life. I became a YouTuber as the platform became more popular. My channel took off. I currently have 81.4 million views and 84,000 plus subscribers. It doesn't pay a whole lot. Maybe there's a better way to monetize that. I'm not sure. I made $86 this month, for example. My journey began dying to be seen and heard, driven by childhood wounds and noticing of the disruption of our culture, how far away we strayed from being a village, and a dishonoring of the ways we used to live, including but not limited to the ways we take care of those who are dying. As I aged, I began to realize the influence sexual violence had over me and some of the shades of public entertainment I entered into. Hypersexuality was the format my abuse expressed itself. This is something commonly known by therapists who understand rape trauma syndrome. I chose to shift out of the norms of the modeling industry of being sexy because sex sells. I pioneered into another industry of being a professional mermaid in 2012. At the time, I was alongside some of the first ever in the business. I purchased my first tail with the income I made from being a webcam model. I was happy to get out of that world after developing a cyber stalker who doxed me and knew severely, extremely personal information and would do behaviors like turning on my webcam to watch me against my will, etc. I used to joke how he was my jigsaw and got me to get out of that realm and enter another one. Unfortunately, I developed an audience who demanded that kind of content around me, and there were continuous lures to be paid directly for images and videos that further and further crossed the boundaries. I ended up creating an OnlyFans, and once doing that, it only pulled me deeper and deeper into going backwards, just not as deep as I started. At the time, I didn't realize the consequences of the after effects that would come from mankind, including persecution and sexual harassment, plus blaming me, shaming me, and being an enforcer of psychological and emotional trauma, verbal abuse, and manipulation, along with many other formats well known to those in the realm of this business. There was also a continuous influence to draw me back and go into deeper paradigms, including the fetish community. There would be seasons of getting out and seasons of going back. I became well known for underwater content and continued to produce that high demand. This ruined my genuine love for the art because it turned my passion into a business and couldn't enter the water without being conditioned to the idea that I needed to get my camera and record. February 16th, 2023, I made the decision that I needed to eliminate all OnlyFans accounts if I was going to be able to tell a story to myself that I didn't do that work anymore. The accounts became finally fully shut down by March 17th, 2023. The system required everyone who had already paid to get their money's worth for 30 days before the account was terminated. There were people who stole all of my content and tried to harass me and use against me the decisions I made before I healed. Now my vision is to help educate the public and those who are currently navigating what I navigated, along with teaching others who think they want to do what I did to understand the fullness of the reality of what else is involved in this industry that one may not be capable of thinking about without being immersed in the industry, the verbal abuse, the sexualization, and other psychological and emotional influences from being in these climates. After I left the industry, I started a different business as a personal assistant. My jobs range from physical labor of landscaping and cleaning houses to helping elders manage technology and assisting those who are interested in expanding their brand, learn knowledge to market what they have to offer, etc. I have also started a practice of offering one-on-one sessions of dedicated active listening and assisting those who want help practicing healthier thoughts through mindfulness and self-awareness. I have not super marketed these things yet, as I have been taking a break to process everything that I am coming away from. I have also returned back to college, and I am pursuing a long-term goal of getting educated in traumaology. I am hoping to focus on proverbial states of developmental trauma. My dream is to help adults who were impacted by intangible traumas like neglects, like not getting diaper changes when crying for help, or not getting the nipple when crying from hunger, circumcision, and other sexual violence at proverbial states of development, verbal abuse, abandonment, being stuck in incubators for long periods of time, etc. I am on the pursuit, presently completing my bachelor's degree in psychology. I have finished my AA, and I have 8 psychology classes plus 4 upper division courses left until I graduate. After that, I will attempt a master's degree in psychology to practice mental health counseling and therapeutic approaches such as IFS, etc. This GoFundMe is with the intention to gain support from those who have accompanied me on the journey since the beginning, or even in the middle, or whenever you have found me in. The finances I am requesting is to help fund my personal needs as I go to school and work. These funds will create release from needing to overwork to meet needs to cover bills and expenses of living. This will allow me to concentrate more on finishing my education instead of my survival. I will post updates here on my gains as I become closer to my deserved achievements. Finances can help cover other areas of needs as I navigate my life away from where I once lived before. So I think she wants to move. The ultimate dream would be to have enough where I don't have to work and I can just focus on school. I'm not asking for a permanent financial coverage, just for finishing this degree. If I didn't have to work, I could also take on more classes and be done with school sooner. I am presently living in Washington State and writing a book about the details of my development to get where I am right now. If you are interested in a copy of this book and hearing my full story, you can email me and I will keep you in the loop when I'm done writing. Thank you for listening and considering funding my personal development needs to step into a greater position of recovery. All right, that was the longest GoFundMe I've ever read. Yeah, that was definitely a lot. Okay, so Health Equality Campaign. They have raised $10 this past week. They have raised $37,755 out of their $100,000 goal, which is 38% of the way there. GAUDAF. It looks like they raised like $20 extra. I'm not really sure though. This is the Help Promote GAUDAF's attorney training video. They raised $7,210 out of their $10,000 goal, which is 72%. All right, support and tackle Global's fight against genital mutilation. They have raised roughly $100 this past week. Yep, that's $100 this past week. So they're at $54,733 raised out of their $60,000 goal, or 92% of the way there. All right, this is Back and Tackle Global's fight for equal protection in Colorado. They have raised no new donations this past week. They're at $12,344 raised of their $50,000 goal, or 25% of the way there. Okay, Brendan Murata, exposed medical board for licensing an FGM doctor. He has gotten no new donations this past week, but he is at $3,006 raised of his $6,000 goal, which is 51% of the way there. All right, Prevail Over the System. We have had no new donations this past week, but that is okay. Our Breaking Through the Glass Ceiling campaign is at 6% of our $10,000 goal for the year. And guys, we are going to get matched here in about 8 days, like a day after the week is over. So this will bump up quite a bit, hopefully. Guys, again, if you cannot afford to help POTS financially through giving, you can also go ahead and use the POTS e-commerce program and the Care Buzz, all of which does not cost you guys anything extra to do. So please consider doing that, especially since it's getting 4x matched on the POTS e-commerce program. All right, and on to the Intactivist growth for the week. So last week, Prevail Over the System was at 2,503 followers. And this week, Prevail Over the System is at 2,510 followers. That is a 7-person gain, which is a 0.28% increase week over week. I will take the increase. It is much better than decreasing, that is for sure. Guys, this is truly awesome. I appreciate you guys spreading POTS. We are becoming unstoppable thanks to you guys. If you are new and would like to help educate people in the comments, please consider joining the social media defenders on our Discord, aka the Walks. It is the easy season for social media defenders, but we still need you guys, even though we're not paying for ads right now. If you want to join the Discord and do so, that would be great. All right, guys, that's all I have for the news. Don't forget about watching James Lowen's brand new interview, and also Spoonie play Who Posted It. Please like and share to get this out to more people. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.
Prevail over the system. We rise through precision. Uplift transition. Reboot the mission. No fear, no fiction. Truth in transmission. Prevail over the system. Our vision's the difference.